Who says crime doesn't pay? One of the J6 insurrectionists just got paid. Hi, I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and this is The Breakdown. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're enjoying the content on Legal AF. So, the family of Ashley Babbitt, who is the woman that was killed during the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol back on January 6, 2021, well, her family reached a settlement in their $30 million wrongful death lawsuit against the federal government. Well, how much are they going to get? The current presidential administration is going to give them $5 million. Yes, $5 million for storming the Capitol and getting killed. Interesting. So on January 6th, Ashley Babbitt was part of a group of thousands of people who stormed the Capitol, went after police officers, assaulted them, and basically forced their way into the Capitol building with the intent of overthrowing the election, right? Most people would think of that as, treason, but not this administration. So she ended up getting shot by a Capitol police officer when she was trying to climb through a broken window in the speaker's lobby at the Capitol. Okay, so she was only a few feet away from elected officials who, because remember, they had all gathered to certify the 2020 election, but now they're like, oh, this is not what we signed up for. And they're basically hiding, ducking and covering, hiding under desks, freaking out, thinking that this is going to be their last moments on earth. So remember, police were present and they repeatedly warned the insurrectionists, get back, stay back. And of course, Ashley Babbitt effed around and found out, right? She wasn't listening to their orders and kept pushing forward, and she got a bullet for it. So in any other context, as we all well know, if you try to, let's say, breach airport security or roll up on, private government property, which, by the way, the Capitol is, or trying to get past armed guards in any kind of secured situation or environment, lethal force is going to be used. I mean, Black people got shot for a quarter of that, but I digress. So the officer that was involved in the shooting that killed Ashley Babbitt was cleared of any wrongdoing. Twice. First time was by the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the second time was by the Capitol Police. And I'll quote from the Department of Justice, they, at the time, under President Biden, they investigated the death, and the Department of Justice closed the investigation because they found, quote, no evidence to establish that at the time the officer fired a single shot at Mrs. Babbitt, the officer did not reasonably believe that it was necessary to do so in self-defense or in defense of the members of Congress and others evacuating the House chamber. So let's not get this twisted. Babbitt in no way, shape, or form was a peaceful protester, right? I mean, it's sad for her family. Obviously they're mourning someone who they love that's now deceased. Yeah, that's sad as a general premise. But again, you effed around and found out, right? You storm a government building, you try to attack representatives, you try to attack sitting officials. Guess what? Police are going to move, and they're going to move with force. No questions. Don't play around. She, I guess, thought her whiteness would protect her. Surprise, surprise. Not in this instance. So and just again, for context of this, you had about 140 police officers that were injured on January 6th. 73 of them were Capitol Police, and 65 of them were from the Metropolitan Police Department, which is the DC police. And this was one of the worst days of injuries for law enforcement since 9/11. So this is an administration that's supposedly pro-law and order, pro-police. Police couldn't find a better friend than this president. Really? This is how you protect the blue? This is how you back the blue? Okay. Hypocrisy much? All right. So again, the police were the real victims that day, as well as the staffers and the folks who literally just came to work to do their job. And next thing you know, there's glass flying and there's people basically trying to storm the building and screaming that they're going to kill him and hang Mike Pence and all of that. Those are the people who were victimized that day. Period. End of story. And this is just disgusting because you're rewarding treason and you're encouraging this to happen again. Another interesting thing to note, 32 of the 46 convicted insurrectionists came from Maryland, which I found very interesting. And the sad part is, now that they've been pardoned, because remember, this administration pardoned them for their actions, after the pardon, they're now getting received and welcomed with open arms in certain corners of Maryland. And I don't mean like corners in the cut. I mean like mainstream counties. And some of the things that are being said is that, oh, God spoke to them that day and it wasn't really a big deal. And this was the Democrats blowing this out of proportion, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And just for example, Stephen Cook, who was one of the insurrectionists that was convicted, went to prison. He shows up at an event in Maryland where they're all celebrating him and all of this. And he literally fixes his face and says, I whacked those officers. I can't lie about it. So you're openly, make this make sense. You're openly bragging about hitting and harming police officers. You're openly bragging about taking part in an insurrection. You're openly bragging about treason. And people are applauding this? Like every day something else comes out and I'm just like, it really can't get any worse. Oh, wait till tomorrow. I mean, this is complete insanity. But I want to talk about an actual hero and an actual victim in this scenario. And that would be retired police officer Harry Dunn. Now, Officer Dunn was on duty on January 6th, and he ended up getting, of course, caught up in the chaos of that day. He was, I think a lot of you would probably remember the shot of him in the Capitol, basically trying to hold the line so that the vice president and others could escape. He talked about how in the middle of the chaos and craziness that day, he was called racial slurs and attacked for being Black. He said, no one had ever called me the N-word while wearing the uniform of a Capitol police officer. And this is an interview he gave back in July of 2021 as part of the testimony to the House Select Committee that was investigating January 6th. He said recently that there are a lot of people, even here in Maryland, that don't give a damn if the president sends a mob to attack to overthrow the election. Now, retired Officer Dunn ran for Congress unsuccessfully. He actually came in second in the primary, and he continues to remain upfront about this administration and his supporters. He said, Donald sent a mob to kill me and my coworkers. If you support him after that, there will never be any common ground between us, and I hate you as much as I hate him. This was something he wrote on his Blue Sky account. Gotta say I co-signed that message. And my heart and support goes out to all the brave folks that day who tried to hold the line, who did everything they could to uphold our democracy in the face of treason, in the face of racism, in the face of hate, in the face of just sheer ugliness. And I can't even imagine the folks who survived that day and are dealing with the trauma and aftermath of being attacked in their workplace. I can't even imagine. I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and this was The Breakdown. Be sure to hit subscribe to LAF. Take care.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.